All right, sorry for the delay. I know it's I've been trying to crank out like one of these like every day or two, and this has just not happened this last round. So you probably noticed the UI has changed a little bit, and that's basically all this episode is about is updates to the UI and upgrades to the UI. So the first thing is that the mouse no longer does this thing at the edge of the screen. You have to go all the way to one side of the screen or the other for it to move. Yeah, screen with your mouse. There are some issues with the mouse and alt tabbing, like mini games. I'm gonna have to look into that at some point. But what we do have is we have actually a whole lot that just jumped out at us. Wow. So we have, as you can see, when we select the factory, we have this little top bar pop out. Pretty slick, actually. And what that is that's our factory queues. If we put a guy in that queue, it'll show us what it's making. Put two guys in the queue, it'll show us that. Put another one in, stacks him because he's a different type, puts him in later in the stack, and boom, yeah, we can have our little guys. Pretty good. So that's kind of like the basics for factories, but there's some other features. We have selection priority, which was always settable, but was not something you could set manually. Now, when you set this, it actually sets the default value for a fact, and now all my guys will have this value for 4. I can send back 3 and select them with the others again. So that's kind of cool. You can do it with buildings, everything. We also have the loop button, which currently doesn't do anything with workers, but that's fine. What we are going to do is we're going to turn on loop on our factory, and we're going to make just make one of each. And boom, yeah, it'll just keep cranking it out in an endless queue, which is exactly what we wanted. This is a great way to manage macro and make it way more accessible to people who can't be fucked to turn around every 40 seconds to go pump their fucking queues full in their factory again. And this is also a key advantage that a lot of the games from the Total Annihilation series have is that because building is done fractionally over time as you actually have the resources, you don't need to reserve the resources in advance and then wait for the queue to finish. It's all a single, smooth, continuous process. This is one of the best things about TA, frankly. But we also have some other stuff, as you've noticed. We have icons for all of our different unit types, and most of these are just the same guy. But there are little differences you can tell with this little modulation on these models, so we can have yellow versus red to simulate their actual models. But we also have some other stuff like ammo guy's got a backpack. The rest of these guys are basically the same. Exosuit guy has a little pieces around him, although it's not super visible. This was kind of cool because we got to use a new tool I've never used before. It's only made possible as of Godot 4.4, but it's basically a way to plug in a tool modifier to create a scene that saves a PNG to your hard drive every time you push a button in the editor without even starting the game. And this is extremely useful for just making these little, like, these are actual sprites captured from the in-game model rendering. And I literally just made them in that little utility, snapshotted them, cropped them back out from the pink background I wrapped them in, and yeah, went OG, just all or nothing transparency on these. Not bad. But we have some other stuff. I already mentioned some of these toggles here, but we have more toggles than that, actually. Let's get a Bombardier and a Raider. So, guys, I'm going to take a minute to crank out. So let's think about some other stuff. Yeah, we have some control groups right now. And we have the whole control groups concept has come into existence. So as we select guys, look how we have this whole selection bar. It stacks all of our 4 exosuit guys together and all of our 7 or so manual laborers together and makes this little nice row. And as they get injured, it'll update their health with a little sprite. So let's get a raider to go do some of that. Hurt this guy real quick. Okay, we shot that guy a little bit. And boom. See, he's appeared in the stack. And yeah, he's a little banged up, huh? So that's red to green, with yellow being the in-between shade. Orange appears between yellow and red, and etc. Obviously, so it's pretty simple. This lets you keep track of units as kind of like their general health, just looking at them visually, using mostly a sense of color and scale, without having to measure things super precisely. But we can also do other stuff. We have control groups now, so we can assign all these guys to group 1. And then group 1 will have an icon for what the most relevant guy is in. So we can boom, group 1. Highlights it green now that we've selected group 1. If we had other guys that were getting joined in by auto groups, which is a new feature, they would also be getting tagged into group 1. So let's go take a Bombardier. We're going to assign this guy Alt Control 1 to auto group 1. Then we're going to queue up some more Bombardiers from T. Like 2 of those, let's say. Select this guy with number 1. See, we already have the other guy that's appeared in the selection queue as he's getting built. We can see his health update in real time. And boom, there's a third one in the selection queue. And it all just works super seamlessly. We start issuing orders. We can start issuing rally points as we're doing this. As you can imagine, this is a tremendous lifesaver for everything we're doing. But we also have some other functionality we have yet to get into. Oh, is this guy stuck? Oh, yeah, this guy's stuck. Ew, gross. Okay, so we're gonna have to fix that. His rally point doesn't work that way. But other than like that slight snafu, we can do a control tilde to wipe all auto grips off these guys. But yeah, other than that slight snafu, we do have some other stuff that's going on. Now we can see the different auto groups. You can right click to go forward, left click to go, or left click to go forward, right click to go back. You can wrap around, of course. It's very simple. We also have our fire state where we can do free fire, where we will seek out attacks and attack anything we see. Return fire, where we will return against attackers or people attacking our guard target. And we have hold fire, where we will just only do what we're manually told to attack, nothing else. It's very simple. It's very rudimentary, but it does function. We also have the ammo restock toggle, so you can turn on or off automatic restock. If you want your guys to just take it out on the front line so you can micro an ammo bearer to reload their magazines, sure, you can do that. No reason you can't. You can even turn on automatic restock on the ammo bearer himself for that. So that's pretty sweet. But we also have some bonus toggles we're seeing here on these two bombardiers we have. What the hell is this? This is shot trajectory low, it says. If we take a shot with our gun, yeah, he's just shooting straight at the thing. It's nothing fancy. But if we set that to high, setting here, we can do boom, full-on artillery, real overcover type stuff. Very useful, very handy. And yeah, we have all these little toggles essentially that we've added as this in-between section between the current selections and the order buttons. Also kind of wrapped around the order buttons so they fit a little more compactly than they did before, which is cool. And yeah, overall, this is going really good, actually. We have control groups, we have auto groups, we have another thing I guess I'll demonstrate if we have this guy's group 1, and now I can do shift 1 to just add other guys to group 1. Super easy, super simple, doesn't have to be anything complicated. Yeah, it's really good. So we have all sorts of stuff we're able to do with these control groups to make that more powerful. We have ability to set factors and loops so we don't have to do too much macro. We have a factory queue to see what we're building in advance. There's some other features I want to talk about, like we start stacking way too much stuff. It goes into the ... section, which lets you know that the queue is going to keep going on beyond that. You can only practically see the 4 things you're currently building. It's not super great. I might add like a 5th slot at some point, but it does its job for now. It's pretty good. And yeah, we can just see that little factory pop-up, which is really nice. Stays up when going between factories out. I will add a config option at some point in the future so that actually adding stuff, or actually selecting stuff, the factory doesn't automatically flip stuff open, or it automatically flips stuff open at 100%, and there's no transition time, in case you want to be an absolute actions per minute sweat lord. Not super crucial, but it's an option for sure. And yeah, this is a tremendous, tremendous upgrade in the UI in almost every single respect. We have had such a tremendous increase in power. The usability has just shot straight to the roof, frankly. There's a lot of great stuff going on. And yeah, so now next is I'm probably going to be making the Universal Combat Armor Mesh, which is going to mean we're going to get actual, real deal, no bullshit, actual, full, no holds barred unit models, animations, everything on some of these infantry guys to start off with. And we're going to be testing out the animation framework. We're going to be testing out how we're able to transfer animations between similar models using skeletals. There's going to be a lot of little things involved, but I think this is going to be really exciting because not long after doing that, I'm probably going to be making like a test level as like an actual like prototype tutorial and maybe adding in some voice lines and some other stuff. It's going crazy, honestly. It's insane. Things are really chugging along other than this big old ugly bottleneck we had to hit of just having to upgrade just about every single component of the UI. But anyways, yeah, that's it for now.